Hello there, this is Rom coming back at you with yet another car video. There are plenty of women for nerds out here, and this is a little bit connected with the sit-down video I did this morning about you only needing to look good for your tribe. Definitely check that out. And always check out some videos I have on Patreon. Always check them out, because then I get even deeper. But I want to just talk about nerds, because let's just be real. Out here, people be thinking, men be thinking especially, they gotta look like Chad or Tyrone to get women. And even though I've said before Chad is rare, but that was another video. Or even Tyrone's. Look, let's just be real with it. Yeah, they're going to get theirs, but that's not all the women out here. Because if you're really paying attention to the women, all of them don't look the same. Because, yeah, if you that top guy, yeah, you get those like supermodel of the world types. You get those bad and bougie types. You get those fine-ass women. Okay, they there. Okay. And yeah, some guys want them, but you know what? They rare, though. They're not all 4 billion women in the world. And it really depends on it's really up to you. I don't care. I mean, I put nerd in the title, but it's really up to the man what he wants to deal with. And really, there's an abundance of women out here. You know, the other day, I was out by a food truck of by where I live, in the complex I live in, right? I was by a food truck, and I saw a couple come by, and dude, let's just be real, dude would not be considered what guys online think you gotta have. Even somebody like me talking about body game. Dude first of all, he was short statured. He had to be about a good 5'6", 5'7". Definitely overweight. He wasn't cut. But he walking by with a woman and a little baby. And let's just be real. I ain't going to get too much into the politics of it. But let's just be real. If you get babies out here, you doing something. You doing something. That's a major issue. That's getting into politics, economics, and everything. I'm not going to talk about it here. But this dude, he wasn't walking by, but the woman matched him. In fact, some people will call them looks matching. Whatever the case, he still was able to get something and a baby child. In fact, I don't know. She looked like, the baby looked like it just showed up, so I don't know what she looked like, what her pre-baby weight was. Whatever the case, he still got him a woman. And he was walking closest to the curb. I was like, yeah, go ahead, man. Yeah, people follow me a long time. No, I'm really concerned about that. But look, here's the thing. He got something. And when you look at guys out here who don't be caught up in trying to be supermodel of the world, or trying to look like they some Chad or Tyrone or something like that, and just do their thing and find their lane, find the women that they can get with, they end up getting with them, because then they realize it really is an abundance. It really is an abundance. Now, if you're looking for like those rare dimes, those rare supermodel of the worlds, yeah, that could be a problem. And one of the problems I found with a lot of guys, and I actually recorded a video, I'll be talking about this next week on my Patreon. A lot of guys, they might not have had that much attention from women. They might have limited experience. They might even be virgins. But then they want supermodel of the world. It's like, motherfucker, stay in your lane. Stay in your motherfucking lane. Now, if you don't like the women in your lane, then you change up. Then you hit body game, you fix up, you become more attractive. That's how you can change whatever you get. In fact, I've talked about that before. If you don't like your tribe, then it's up to you, because the only thing, if you got 20 women in your tribe, the only thing they have in common is you. So even though I'm talking about nerds in general, in fact, I'm gonna stay on nerds. I'm gonna stay on nerds. Because you get a lot of guys, they nerdy and they proud. There's actually plenty of women for them. There's plenty of women for them. Because what do nerds do? Nerdy women do. They read. They'll hit the Comic-Con. They'll hit the comic book store. And whenever I go to my local comic book store or local bookstore, and you know, for me, a hot date is a bookstore, I see plenty of women. And no, they not like supermodel of the world type. They ain't wearing those 5-inch heels and stuff. There was a couple women walking over here just real quick. There was another guy in a car. He was staring. He was giving them that bruh man look. If you don't know who bruh man is, just watch some old episodes of Martin. Anyway, right? I had to just laugh about that. But look, if you're a nerd out here, you're a nerd. Be proud of that shit. There's plenty of nerds out here, nerdy women out here. Plenty of women, they'll play that video game right with you, go to that comic book store with you. And you know what? They ain't supermodel of the world. They ain't bad and bougie. Don't chase them. If that's not your lane, don't worry about it. Don't try to be what you're not. It's like that guy I always mentioned. He was like, I'm a nice guy, I'm proud. He had a fine-ass wife, got a son with him. Shoot. Because he was cool with what he was. If you, whatever you are, and I'm using nerd as an example, but whatever you are, whatever your body build is, because yes, I can talk about body game, but let's just be real. Everybody ain't going to have that super tight body. That's why I say get the best body you can and see which women like it. Like that couple I mentioned earlier where, you know, they walking by, dude short stature, overweight, but had a baby. Shoot. And let's just be real with it, just on a political thing real quick. There's groups out here that would applaud him. There's groups out here that would pay them. That's a major thing. But, you know, at the end of the day, you just want to be whatever your best is and whatever you're comfortable with. If whatever you're interested in. You can't try to be that other person. Don't worry about Chad or Tyrone. You know, like, let me use the Tyrone example, because the big thing with Tyrone is getting a bunch of tats or something, right? I don't have a single tat. I said any scars on my body, those are my tats. I'm not going to change up for anybody. I don't care. Because I remember back in the day, there was this woman, back before we had FaceTime and stuff like that. Met this woman, it was like some email group. And we talked on the phone, but like I said, we didn't have FaceTime. And I'll never forget, she was like, well, do you have earrings? You have tattoos? I was like, no. She didn't want to talk anymore. I'm like, whatever. Because I'm not worried about that. Because even back then, I knew there was an abundance of women. There are some women who were feeling them. In fact, I had run into a group of women, and a few of them knew the woman. And a few of them, they were like, hey, they were asking a friend of mine about me. So it was like, whatever. Look, here's the thing. You got to, as a man, you got to ultimately be comfortable with who you are. Even when I talk about body game, I say, look, yes, you're getting women through body game, but the main thing is feeling comfortable with yourself. You got to be able to look in the mirror and feel comfortable with yourself. Yeah, we can talk about getting women. We can talk about your health and all of that. No, you want to be able to look in the mirror butt naked and be like, you know what, I'm good. That's it. That's it. Everything else is just icing on the cake. And no matter what, as a man, I don't care what you are, I don't care what your group is, they can call you a nerd. They can call you a nerd, whatever. There's plenty of women out there for you. I mean, seriously. And now I've known, as I've said, I've known plenty of players. All of them weren't getting supermodel of the world. Now some guys will be like, well, I don't want that woman. I don't want that woman. Okay, fine. You don't have to have like an average at best woman. You don't have to. That's up to you. But then you create a scarcity mindset. And see, everybody ain't thinking like that. Every guy is not thinking like that. Every guy is like not thinking like, oh, well, I only want this type of woman. And I'm going to tell you what, even some guys thinking that scarcity thing, I think that's some bullshit. Yeah, I'm going to say that's some bullshit. They know they ain't seeing like supermodel of the world around anyway. I don't care where they go. Then you get some guys that come on, I see them all the time. I say, you got one? Then what good is it? If you don't, what good is it? But it's still, you still got to think no matter what, because it's all about your world. It's all about your relationship with yourself. And now you might not be that 6'2", muscular, model looking dude. Yeah, 99.9% of the world ain't that. The men in the world ain't that. And they still getting some women. In fact, when you look at players, I've seen players look all types of ways. Super slim, plenty who were muscular. But even then, they were looking different. Like I knew this one player. If you look him from neck up, if you saw him from the neck up, you would think he was just some overweight dude. And he had a big fat face. But then from the neck down, he could compete in a bodybuilding contest. And he was still getting women. Men rather, who weren't 6 feet. They were still getting women. Because it's still, at the end of the day, it comes down to a man being cool with himself, good with himself, and then finding the women who fall into that tribe who like that. Because, trust me, I've met some women who would call themselves nerdy. They actually like nerdy men. You look too cool, too fly, too thug for them. They don't want to fuck with you. They don't want to fuck with you. All a nerd has to do is find the women in his group, in his tribe. And there's plenty of women do it. Now, you get some guys who really going to get caught up in that scarcity mindset. The key to it is the mindset. Like a little trick. Now, I'm going to get a little metaphysical with y'all. Like, some days I'll say, you know what, I just want to see women with that big old round butt dunk. That's what I see. Or I say, you know what, I want to see women with those, like, fat legs. That's what I see. Basically, you're going to see whatever your mind is looking for. Now, if you don't think the type of women you want are around, you're not going to see them. Now, if you say to yourself, nah, this is the type of woman I really want to see. Because, you know, like I said earlier, some guys, that's some cop-out talking about they want supermodel of the world, so a lot of guys. They just saying that because they know they ain't around and they'll have an excuse why they can't get none. But if you any place, if you in like really even a major suburb, any place there's people, you're going to see what you like. And you're going to be able to get it. And it's going to be whatever you look like. But you got to have the mindset for it. You got to have the mindset. And it's not always like what a lot of guys are thinking about. Thinking you got to be special. Get offline and get in the real world. You're going to see something. I remember I was somewhere a couple weeks ago and saw this like real fine young lady. And she was with this big, he wasn't even a big stocky dude. He wasn't even that tall. He had to be about 5'5", but he was stocky though. And I could tell from their body language that they were definitely together. That's what you have to think about. And I don't care what you are, what you into. First of all, what you into, that's you. That's you. Don't pretend like you something that you're not. Don't try to be some thug dude out here. You know you ain't no thug. Don't be mad that you ain't tall with some square jaw looking like some hypothetical model when you're not. You are who you are. You just have to be good with yourself and then realistic about the type of women you can get. And everybody can find something attractive for one simple reason. Just like women find different types of men attractive, men find different types of women attractive. So, using the nerd example, a dude could be the biggest nerd on the planet. But, like I said, when I be going into like a local comic book store, or I would go to some local Comic-Cons, which unfortunately ain't going to be like, they ain't going to have a local one near here this year. Oh well. But there'd be some like, I'd be looking at them like, I go to my local comic book store and shout out Brother Pat. But I'd be going out to my local comic book store. If I go in, or especially on a Saturday, I'd be like, damn, there's some fuckable ass women in here. Yes, I be thinking fuckable. These some fuckable ass women, young women and stuff. Shit, my sons be like, give him that bra man look. Yeah. But you can find whatever. Don't get caught up in that other man. And I've said that before. Don't worry about you don't look like that other man. The only man you look like is yourself. And you into what you into. Or if you into books. Whenever I go to, like, that's a big thing going to my local bookstore. Because I'm big on books. Checking the magazines. In fact, I can't remember that brother's name I met who be checking out my videos. Met him. He was looking at a magazine. He said, hey, you Uncle Rom, ain't you? I was like, yeah. I can't remember your name. Shout yourself out if you see this video. But, you know, I be going in there, be seeing nice looking women in there all the time. Young women. Young women too. Older women too. Shh. They be like, hey. But younger women. So I'm like, if that's what you into, that's what you into. And there's plenty of women. Don't get caught up in thinking, oh, you got to get supermodel of the world. First of all, you take off all that makeup from supermodel of the world and they look like a regular woman. In fact, I saw this clip on IG, this dude I follow. Because he was commenting on this woman and she wasn't fixed up. And he was like, whatever. He was like, whatever. We'd rather see you in those sweats and those slippers, your hair not dead. We want to see you ordinary. Now, some dudes, that's him. Some dudes don't want to see that. But then, you know what? That's realistic, though. Shoot. In fact, let me give y'all some game real quick. The best time to really holler at a woman is when she ain't as fixed out, because then she take you a little bit more seriously. He's like, well, damn. You know, you want to get that woman who might be, as Master Teacher BGS would call them, adjustables. See, you want that woman who can fix up. Sometimes the best time to holler at that woman, even approach that woman, she ain't fixed up, because then she'd be like, oh, wait a minute, I ain't fixed up and this guy's approaching. Hold up. She'd be like this. Okay. Let me see. Pull it right here. Sure. Hey. It's just some game for y'all. I mean, you know, Uncle Ron got to give y'all some game. Yeah, so you gotta, I mean, seriously. But you can get yours. You can get yours. I don't care. I mean, like I said, I use nerd in the title, but it really is whatever's good for you. Whatever's good for you. And there's plenty of women, plenty of attractive women. And don't get caught up in like that bad, that supermodel of the world or that bad and bougie woman. Because usually you take their makeup off, they don't look any different. There's very, very few just roll out of bed beautiful women, first of all. Roll out of bed. And then a couple that I know, they're lesbians. Just like that. So, I'm going to tell you what. You got to have that mindset of, regardless of what you are, that woman need to fit into your world. And there's plenty. I don't care who you are, nerd, alternative person, whatever your social class is, whatever. There's a woman in that group. There is a woman in that group. I don't care what your subculture is. You can be some alternative type of person. There's some women there. You have to focus on that, okay? So anyway, go ahead, get some food. I want y'all to think about that. And I'll get back with y'all tomorrow. I got to think about what I'm going to talk about. You know what? One thing when I do these car videos, they really are spontaneous. I don't have anything written down. I'll think of a title about it. Oh, man, got a dragonfly right there. Dragonflies are lucky for me. Anyway, that's all I got for today. I'll get back with y'all. Peace.